Welcome back, people. So, Billy Joe Saunders has come out of, his hideout or wherever he's been, for the last few years. And he's done a recent interview, with IFL. And, obviously, he's done this interview after Eubank has took that serious defeat to Liam Smith. But prior to that, he's been dormant, really. But honestly, it's good to see that Billy Joe Saunders is back in the public domain and is back in people's minds and his thoughts now because he's hopefully this is the first interview that he's going to be doing, and maybe over the next few weeks or months, etc., he'll potentially be, a bit more out there and maybe calling a few people out. In this interview, he gives his opinion on the fight. He gives his opinion about obviously Eubank Jr. And what he should potentially do with his career. And then he also mentions towards the end as well that he's potentially looking to try and, get back into some sort of competitive competition towards the end of the year. Hopefully, get himself back into a few fights. But what was interesting is that he said that regardless of who he kind of calls out or which fights are going to be made, that Eubank Jr. is not on the radar. So I thought that was quite interesting, really. Now, he also said, although, Eubank's not on the radar, that if a big money, offer was put on the table for him to fight Eubank Jr., that he'd be silly to turn it down. And, that does make sense, But I would like to have seen the potential, rematch between Eubank Jr. and Billy Joe Saunders. Obviously probably not straight away now because of what happened with Eubank Jr. and Smith. But if Eubank could come back and challenge Smith and maybe beat Smith and look fairly convincing, doing that. And obviously Billy Joe Saunders has had a few fights, maybe to shake a bit of the ring rust and a bit of weight that he's got off him. And he looks half decent as well. Then this would be a future fight that I'd be very interested in seeing. Now, as I mentioned, Billy Joe, he gave his thoughts and opinions regarding Eubank Jr., what he thinks he should do. He honestly said that he's pretty much no good, and that he won't be a world champion, which is what he has said in the past. But he also said that he feels that Eubank should retire, and he said this because what he's pretty much saying is that he doesn't think that Eubank Jr. is probably better than half of the middleweights or light middles that are out there currently. Do you know what I mean? And that Eubank should pretty much be focusing on one weight and not trying to, fight at 168, but then kill yourself to try and drain at 160 and stuff like that, or maybe 157, which is what he tried to do which he was meant to fight, obviously Conor Benn, but that fight fell through because we all know why. So he's trying to say that if he is, Eubank Jr. is looking to continue with boxing, that he should find a way that he is comfortable in fighting. But he honestly feels that he should just retire, take the money that he's earned from boxing, do you know what I mean, and probably sail off in the sunset. Obviously, you guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions regarding that. But, I think going forward with Billy Joe Saunders, with his career, obviously I've seen a few pictures of Billy Joe Saunders and he has ballooned out. He hasn't been training, he hasn't been doing anything, probably just been eating and drinking and sat down, really. So for him to make a comeback, he's going to have to lose a lot of weight and get himself into some good nick. And it's quite a shame, really, because if you think about it, he's a very, 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 very talented boxer. Even to today, I'd probably consider him one of UK's best talents, do you know what I mean? Which could have been, something, but realistically wasn't really much, really. But he's still got the skills, and that's the one thing as a boxer you will never lose. You will never lose them skills. That'd be like one of the, the last things to go. The sharpness, the speed, the power, all that will fade far longer than his skills. He'll always have them skills. So if he could get himself into some good nick, I would like to see what he could potentially do. But with him as well, he needs to find out what weight division will be best for him. Obviously, he's piled on a lot of weight, So for him to get down back into maybe 160 or 168 It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough for him as well. So maybe his first few fights back, depending on how he does with the weight cut, might be at a heavier weight at 175 or something. But that'll be interesting anyway. So anyway, guys, you know what I mean? Rather than me, you know what I mean, keep waffling, you know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts in regards to Billy Joe Saunders potentially having a return in 2023. Is it something you're excited about, or do you just feel like you should just retire and sail away in the sunset and be a fat Billy Joe? But anyway, as always, please subscribe and like and comment for more boxing related content. Bless.